Hi everyone, it's Girl Who Golfs here. Welcome back to my channel. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Also ring that little notification bell and also give me a like. With all these drivers on the market, is it really a driver that will help you increase your distance? 449. I just want more distance. What if I said that for just £1.50 you could increase your driver distance with just these? 3 bags of tees. One bag is going to create more optimum distance compared to the others, but which one? Let's give it a go. So what is the optimum tee height and what difference does it actually make? These are the 3 most commonly used tee pegs by you guys out there. So, which one's best? First up, we're going to try the white 2-inch Castle tee. We're going to try the pink 2 1/8 Castle tee. And then finally, we're going to try the 2 3/4 orange tee. But which one's right? We've got pink, we've got white, we've got orange, we've got Castle, we've got wooden, we've got brush tees. It's such a confusing market, but what if I was to tell you that just one of these would change the way you hit your driver? So, what do we want out of a driver to make sure that we can get it as far as possible? So first thing we look at is the launch angle. We don't want a launch angle that's too high, and we don't want a launch angle that's too low, because that affects distance. If we imagine a hose pipe, we point that hose pipe nice and high, it's going to just go straight up and drop straight back down again. We point it too low, again, it's not going to go very far, it's just going to go straight into the ground at its nearest point. If we find that point which is in between, we're likely to get it travelling much further and the distance being increased. That's the same thing we want with the driver. Number 2, hitting up on the driver. So, we want to hit as high up on this face as is possible. So, a driver face is actually curved, so it looks a little bit like a half moon. So we want to be hitting on this portion here. Hitting lower down will just cause the ball, as we just discussed, to launch much lower and not travel very far. The other way we can do that is by the way we swing the golf club. So by swinging on the up, like this, the ball will make contact more off the top of the face and less down at the bottom of the face. Hitting up on it increases your distance. Number 3, spin rate. So, spin rate, quite obvious, it's how much the ball spins. If the ball spins too much, you're likely to lose distance. If you see anybody who's got a horrid slice, you will notice how much that ball loses distance compared to somebody who hits it nice and straight. So spin rate's really important with the driver to get that distance that we want. So, first up, we've got the white tee peg. It's the shortest of all of them. So let's give it a go and let's see what happens. Now, one real noticeable difference for me with going down to the white tee peg, I've never used a white tee peg this small, is just how low the ball flight is. So remember we spoke about the hose pipe pointing downwards? You can definitely see that. It's just not getting the height that I really need, and you can see that in the numbers. So I've got the results here from the white Castle tee, which if you remember was the 2-inch Castle tee. We've got a launch angle of just 9.5. With the white Castle tee I could really see a difference. I could feel how low it was coming off the face, but also how low the ball flight was going compared to what I'm used to, and that resulted in a real loss of distance. The spin rate was also quite high for me. It was 2,682 altogether. The peak height was also low at just 8. I really think if I put some dry shampoo on the face, you'd really see a lot of those strikes out of the bottom. You can definitely see now the correlation between having a short tee peg, hitting it low off the face, not on that optimum position, creates less distance, less height, and an increase in spin. So the results for the pink castle tee, which was the 2 1/8 high tee peg, the spin rate was 2,391. So we can see that we're getting a little bit more to that optimum, so it's dropped slightly because we've increased that tee peg. So we've now going from hitting it quite low off the face to a little bit higher. I still found it very difficult to try and launch that ball at the optimum though. The launch was only 9.8, so again, slightly more, but still not quite where it needs to be. The peak height was also just 9. So as you can see, as the tee peg has increased, everything else has gradually increased, or in the spin rates terms, decreased, which has given us a little bit more distance, but still nowhere near as much to be able to get that optimum to what I know that my optimum is anyway. So let's move on to the tallest tee peg, which is the orange castle tee. This tee peg is closest to the tee peg that I use, so I'm hoping that this will give me my optimum launch angle that I usually get with my white tee pegs. So then finally we used the orange castle tee, which was the 2 3/4 length. This one was the closest to the one that I use with my driver. The launch angle was massively different. It was 12.9. The first shot I hit out of all of them was the best shot I've hit in a long time. You could feel it come off the face right where you want it. The spin dropped even further. It was now 2,200, which is again around my optimum. The peak height had increased as well to 13. So if you remember right at the start, we talked about that house pipe. The higher it goes, the more distance you'll get with it. I definitely noticed from the orange tee peg compared to the white tee peg just how much difference in distance and spin. So before you go out and buy that expensive driver, just think first, what tee peg am I actually using and what height might actually help me give me that optimum distance. For me, the results are quite clear. The orange tee peg is my optimum, not only for the feel that I got out of it, but also from the numbers perspective. My spin rate was low, my distance was the highest out of all three, and also the peak height and also the launch angle was absolutely spot on.